What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Collider Media Studio at the Cinema Center at South by Southwest 2025. I'm lucky enough to be sitting with the team behind the Rivals of Amziah King. Huge congratulations on your movie. I'm just like a very big fan of everyone who's here, so I really cannot wait to see it. Congratulations in advance. So I know a little bit about your movie, but because we're celebrating it as a film festival debut, folks out there might not know anything just yet. So I will give you these duties. Can you give us a brief synopsis of your film?
I will take it as far as it's set in the honey industry. And it starts with our lead male here, Matthew, playing Amziah, who reconnects with his foster daughter, played by Angelina LookingGlass. And then a lot of other, hijinks ensue, freewheeling chaos, anarchy.
A lot of music.
Absolutely.
And then
absolutely
becomes a Western.
Yeah. Second half of the movie's a Western.
I feel like you're saying all the right keywords here. So, Andrew, I got a little bit of a question about the story development, because I was reading another interview you did where you mentioned that at one point you were going to expand it into a mini-series. So I am curious what sparked the itch to expand, and then when did you realize that it best suited the feature film format instead?
Well, it was a smaller movie, about 2018. And then I had a lot of time on my hands to rewrite it a little bit and worked it into a full 7 episodes, and it was many more pages. New characters got introduced, new dynamics. Character of Amziah blossomed in that. And then as theaters started reopening, as things sort of changed around theaters, becoming relevant again, I remembered sort of falling back in love with cinema and decided I want to see if I can adapt this like a novel. And I took the 360 pages and I cut it down. Then Matthew and I met. He helped me cut it down even a little bit more. And he came on board to play the role, and now it's this version.
I'm a big fan of your last feature film, and I am a little curious about making the leap from first to second feature, because I feel like there's the misconception out there that when you make a first feature and people really like it, it could be really easy to get the next one off the ground. But it's been a little while since The Vast of Night. Can you kind of, walk us through some of the challenges you experienced and how you secured the green light for this movie ultimately?
Yeah, I did have tremendous opportunities after The Vast of Night. It was my plan, though, to try to stay with films that were handmade, that were organic to me, that were original, that didn't come from, not that I dislike studio movies, but I wanted something that had my fingerprints all over it. And so I worked on multiple scripts and ended up going back to this one out of the passion for telling something that actually took place in the place where I'm from.
I was reading that in your director's statement. The idea of like a handmade film, really speaks to me. Matthew, I'll come your way now about signing on to this, because I was reading a little about this in another interview, and I just know it in general because I follow your work. It's been a little while since you've done a live action role in a feature film. So can you maybe tell me a little bit about why you knew you needed a break in that respect, and then what gave you the itch to not only jump back into it, but specifically to jump back into it with this film?
I don't know if I didn't feel like I needed a break. I just ended up taking a break. Did other things, wrote a book, really enjoyed that. Another version of storytelling with less filters, I don't know, I did a few other things there along the way. And then this came along. Original voice, original place, time, space, the language, the poetry, the musicality of it, the innocence of it, the humor of it, the wild, anarchic humor of it. A father figure and a mentor and a wild ass in Amziah King who gives misfits a belonging is what he does. I love that, the heart at the story. It's a love story between her and I, and the base of it. And then this is all the band. And Amziah's taken folks in along the way, and if it doesn't make sense, well, it oughta. If it ain't true, shit, say it quick. It will be. It's just, I think it's a story. It's a story I want to be a part of, and a story that I'm excited to be out there right now. So when I read it, I knew the people, I knew the places. I've been around them, and they're on the outskirts of places even I've lived. A lot of the world, I think, will look at this and go, "Who are those people? What planet is that they're living on?" And then tonight at South by Southwest specifically, I think most everyone in that crowd will go, "I do know those people."
I love the sound of that. I'll ask you a little bit of a question about finding your character, especially because you brought up that when you made the transition from series to feature, Matthew came in and helped a little. And I always love asking this question because I feel like it's like it can be a nerve-wracking but exciting challenge for an actor when they jump into a new project, you're on unsteady ground, but then you could have that like aha moment where you realize like, I have just found my character. Did you have that with Amziah, and if so, when?
I think I understood Amziah pretty well pretty early. Since Andrew wrote it and was going to direct it, we spent a lot of time talking about the conception of the character. I mean, larger than life, yeah, but still realistic, you know? The legend in his own story, damn right, every time, whether he pulls it off or not. I was saying this earlier, but he has a large side of doing things that he shouldn't do, because at the same time he's whispering in his own ear that even if I don't pull this off, it'll be a hell of a story. An aristocrat of the heart is Amziah. As I said, a giver of belonging, leader of the band, but loves for any of the bandmates to take the spotlight, and makes people the center of the universe when they're around him. I just found that heart. There's poetry in that guy, in that voice, the life, the way he moves, everything's musical, the way he hears. And this film's very musical, and it's arguably a musical. 6 tunes in it, you know, that we sing and perform. So it's literally kind of a musical, and just the musicality of the relationships and the dialogue I was just attracted to, and I heard the meter in my own mind very quickly. I wanted to be a part of it.
Saying all the right keywords and qualities here. I love the sound of this. Angelina, I'm going to come your way now. And I told you this before. Your first feature film, and that is a really big deal, something that should be celebrated. And I want to make sure our audience gets to know you a little bit. So I'll give you a 2-part question.
Yeah.
First part, going into the making of this movie, can you share a specific acting goal you had for yourself?
Specific acting goal for myself, just making good work and having fun, and being proud of, what I'm doing, and also like just with everyone else. Yeah.
So now the back half of that, coming out of having made your first feature film, do you have a new goal, like a new tool in your toolkit that you want to use on the next project?
I don't know. I mean, I can't wait to, make another film or TV series, and getting to play a character that I really love, and getting to work with people that also share a love for, what we do. And, yeah.
And I want to add this about Angelina. She was able to do that thing that a lot of us actors, once we learn how to act, forget how to do, which is just listen and behave honestly. And in that way, she didn't have any real takes that were wrong. You directed her and she took direction, but she didn't have a false note, because she didn't know how to lie, right? You know what I mean? We learn how to fib, and sometimes our fibs can be better than the truth. It is good, but if we can remember that simple thing of sitting back and listening. Like I always say that if you watch a documentary, is there any better acting than somebody honestly reacting? Like, we can go recreate it, and maybe do a damn good job, but it's not going to be any better, Anyway, that's a gift she had, and she was comfortable in front of the camera, and just keep that along the way wherever you go. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you sing her praises a little more, because I feel like icon in the industry. And when you're newer, I feel like you look up to the icon, but there's also great opportunity to learn from a fresh perspective. So even with all your experience, is there anything you saw her do that inspired you?
Well, what I was just saying, and that's what's fun about working with a non-actor who can also be themselves and behave honestly in front of a camera. They remind us, no matter how much we've learned, no matter how much we've been schooled or learned how to do the craft, the purity is that you can either do it or not. If someone can act honestly and respond honestly in front of the camera, you can't really do any better acting than that. So it simplifies everything. And also, it's a freedom for me to play around on this side of the camera, because she's going to react honestly to whatever I do. So I can play around on this side of the camera to help her get to where she wants to go, because she's just going to act honestly to it. She's not going to give a false reaction to anything that I do. So that's a lot of fun being on the other side of the camera with that.
I can't wait to see this dynamic on the big screen. So for all four of you now, I don't know many specifics about your characters. I'm going to assume that all of you play characters that are kind of in this community that they're describing here. So I'll give you a big two-part question so I don't have to be like, tell me about your character. Can you each tell me something that your character gains from this community and also something they want to give back to it because they appreciate it?
My character's easy. It's financial stability. I mean, my character's like an information broker, so I think he gains a lot of stability from working with the right people, and he gets involved in whatever it is at the right time.
Just looking for a good hairline.
What?
What?
That's a fourth lane.
That's what it works.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Filing it away.
12 minutes in. Yeah.
I think found family though. I mean these guys are, you know, or I'll speak for my character, for Remick. I mean there's a lot of love that I think he's gained from being a part of this group, and I don't think he had elsewhere growing up. And so, you know, that's the story about community and people coming together in chaotic ways, like bees. Yeah. Dare I say?
I think there's a lot of kindness in Amziah. I think more than anything, I think Komar wants to repay a kindness in any way, shape, or form. So at the end of the day, that's where that kind of comes in. And I think there's a little bit of guilt and sorry, but you know, I think just repaying a debt, if anything.
What I wanted to do was support Amziah and all his wild antics and his big character life. And then what I gained is a beautiful relationship with this young lady.
I love the sound of all of that. So I'm going to give you all a big group question because I love indie filmmaking and I love the joy people have when they're on set doing the work. And I know we don't want to spoil anything, but I'm wondering if each of you can recall the most joyful experience you had on this particular set while being an independent filmmaker.
House scene. Singing, getting, pulling her out of her shell a little bit. The Kateri, the character. I'm a character that likes to throw people right in the spotlight, whether they want to or not. And there's something that happened that night as we continued the take, and they just like, just keep going, and we pushed it, and some magical stuff happened, some stuff that you can't script, and a lot of life. There's a couple. It's a scene that kind of comes out of the screen, and fills you up, and I get the tingles when I see that scene.
For me, it was reconnecting with this man 30 years later from my very first film, Contact, where I had ad-libbed some lines and then went and saw it, didn't know what to expect. And when I saw myself on screen, it really gave me the boost to pursue this profession. And then to like share that with him on set, we're sitting in the truck and I'm like, man, you know, you was my first movie, man. Like, man, I can't believe 30 years ago, and here I am acting with you now. He's like, hey, man, I've been doing this for 30 years just to come back and be with you, you know? And it was like, wow, just the way he was so cool about it. So, yeah, that was my real, like, aha moment for me.
Good one.
I got to work with my older brother. He's a stunt actor, and he got to do a nice little stunt for me. So that was really fun. It was great, especially to do that on an indie movie was great. And then the second bit was after we got the clearance to work after the strikes or during the strikes or whatever, I got to push a couple barrels into a lake. That was just fun. I've always wanted to like throw shit off of a bridge. Listen, I'm a kid at heart. It was fun.
I mean, don't we all sometimes? I get it.
My favorite moment for the brief period of time I was there was Andrew brought in his brother to play a character in the set that I played in, and just tortured this guy. Just shaved the eyebrows.
We shaved his eyebrows. We bleached his hair. We cut his hair down. We bicked the side. We killed his mustache. We bleached his mustache, and then all he does is like pull a fry cooker out and look at Cole, and that's it. He's an extra.
For 2 seconds.
For 2 seconds.
For 2 seconds.
He looked like that for 6 months.
Which was my favorite thing ever.
It's commitment. I like it.
Man, every day, but really the first day. I mean, this was, Andrew gave me basically my first job in a movie eight years ago now. So just day one, showing up to act alongside these totally incredible people and, experiencing that. Yeah. And also there was a scene early on where sometimes the best thing is when you prepare something and somebody does something that totally throws you off and you just go, oh, that's so much better. That's exactly right.
What did I do?
No, you laughed at something that I said and it was perfect. I went, oh yeah, that's the two of them. That's it. They shit around with each other. That was it. Yeah. And you find it on camera. It's the best feeling ever.
I live for moments like that. Not to cut everyone who hasn't answered yet off, but just to follow up on that, because you've worked together before. Is there anything you saw him do on this set that even made you go like, my God, I knew you were a good director. Never realized you'd be capable of that though.
Sort of weird. I mean, I got to be honest, not so much. Like his style of directing has remained basically the same. I mean, he's sitting there with the monitor. And it's very easy to forget that you're going to end up somewhere 20 feet tall. I mean, you're just sitting talking. And I think he does a lot, actually, to keep that environment special. And so it was the consistency of that rather than being shocked by anything new, honestly. Yeah.
I would say, I mean, every day was really just really wonderful. And, just having to be under everybody's wing was really nice. I learned a lot, and just like particular scenes with like that I wasn't in, just watching everybody like work and everything was really nice. So yeah, I cherish those memories a lot.
My favorite one was probably getting stung by that bee 10 days before production started. Because I found out real quickly I was highly allergic.
Oh no.
And if I would have got stung by a bee in the scene, which there were many bees in the movie, I would have been out, not being able to be on camera for 5 or 6 days. So I got stung early. And how we get away? I was still pretty nervous there at the end. There was only 10,000 of those son of a guns, man. I was like, I sure swell. But we made sure that I was picking up that mass amount of bees on the last day. We made sure it was the last.
Yeah, some good producing.
Yeah, good producing, good scheduling, because if I do get bit, I'm done for 5 days. That's right. We've already used McConaughey. We got him shot out. I did. You did. I mean, there. And it's just fine. Did you ever get stung?
Yeah, I got stung.
Day one.
You're not allergic.
No.
I'm allergic. Very. I found out.
I'm not allergic. I'm just scared. I know the bees are important, but they scare me. Want to take us home on this one?
They're talking about a lot of different things in vague terms because no one's seen the film yet.
Yeah.
And the reality is we've now talked about music, bees, stunts. What'd you say? Western. It's a West. Something I'm proud of at this movie is we all got to do something very bold and took some real swings. And I haven't seen a lot of that lately. And that's all I want to do. And I can't thank these people enough for going on that journey and taking that bold swing. And I really hope that that's what people take away and experience when they watch The Rivals of Amziah King.
I'll wrap with this question for you because I wrote something down from your director statement that made me. You talked a lot about the handmade aspect, which I also appreciate. But right at the beginning, you said, I grew up in Oklahoma and never left. The idea of moving away from my community to go make movies didn't feel like a path in which I would have flourished. And I just found that so fascinating because there's so many aspiring filmmakers who think, they need to make movies in the system, and that's the only way to do it. So if someone out there wants to be a filmmaker but stay in their community and do it their way, what advice would you give them?
First of all, go out and fail and go out and do it again and get a little better and get a little better. And build a community where people are excited and believe in your vision. Oddly enough, that was Texas for me. I made my first film here. I made it on I-35 in Hillsboro, Texas. That also happened here. But I believe that the number one thing you need is people around you that believe in what you're doing and are willing to go into hell with you. And that's going to be what every indie filmmaker needs to do is stick to their guns and try everything until you start to succeed. That's all I can say. when it comes to that.
Filmmaking families
Yeah.
are the most important thing. And it
Fantastic.
seems like you're building a great one right here. I'm going to say huge congrats in advance on the movie. Cannot wait to see it.
Thank you.